Hi, welcome to Realtors Talk. My name is Brian Taylor and I have with me Margaret Mead, my partner, and we're going to talk to you a little bit about valuable market information as well as buyer and seller's advice. So Margaret, it's been a pretty good market again the early spring so far.
Yes, it has.
A lot of new listings on the market. There's a lot of things going on that buyers and sellers should be concerned about. But there's one thing that I really like to bring into this space right now is there was a lot of houses last year that didn't sell, even though they were on the market for a fair amount of time. And then there are the ones that did sell that didn't close. What's going to happen with them, do you think?
Well, okay, so that's okay. Good questions. So as far as the properties that were on the market that didn't sell, I'm going to have to say that a large percentage of those people are still going to come on the market at some point.
I agree.
Maybe not all, but I'm going to say most of them, because generally when you go through all that trouble to sell, there's a reason for it. So for those of you out there that have had your home on the market for sale and you did not sell, then please call us and come and speak with us. And the reason why I'm asking you to do that is we're having a lot of experience with this right now. So, Brian, would you like to talk about our two recent listings that we have and how we got them?
Yeah. Okay. So we've sold, a couple of properties, but one in particular we remember from last fall was one where we had a big 10-acre property, was on the market for inside of a year, but not way inside of a year. And they really had no luck in selling. In fact, I won't say the name of the client, but when she was explaining to me the process they went through and the rest of it, I was like, wow, I saw a lot of holes in the details.
Yeah.
But the main thing is that the market was forever changing. They had a rural property. It needed a few things. They got lots of good photos and they got the basics done. But I just don't know what the problem was. And so when we listed it, we sold in 4 days.
We did. Now, the market was quite hot back then, so we were able to do that. And that property came to us through a referral from one of your past clients.
Yeah, okay, so that goes way back.
Yes, so that's an important part here. So we are actually getting a lot of business through past clients, and which is a wonderful thing. But if you're a new person looking at this video and you haven't interviewed anyone yet, then please think of us. And again, if you've had your home on the market before and you didn't sell, then just give us a call. Come on in and we will sit down with you and talk to you.
We've got one more though. I'm going to talk about the one that we've just listed.
Yes.
So we've just listed another house where they went on the market in May of last year.
Yes.
They went through the entire summer. They actually got a decent offer. She mentioned that to you. They had gotten a decent offer at the time, but they just felt that their house was worth more and they'd hold out for a little bit more. So that offer kind of came and went. They didn't sell. And then the same idea. So a client of mine who I helped buy a condo, who comes to me from like 20 years ago at least, had mentioned in a conversation that maybe you guys should speak to Brian and Margaret about this because they're not having these troubles. And so we've got the house for sale. In fact, while we're doing this right now, this show, we have an offer going back and forth. But the main thought there was, though, is she's told us about 10 times, wow, the other agents didn't do this and the other agents didn't do that. And we feel bad for the other agents in some ways, but when we hear the things they didn't do, we're kind of like, well, those are amateur mistakes.
Yeah.
So if you're going to think about selling this year, if you tried to sell last year and you didn't, maybe you'll have better luck this year.
I think so.
And maybe hire a team this time around.
Yes, and a team is very, very important. So that's absolutely crucial.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Let's move a little bit over to our buyer's advice segment. So buyer's advice, I know we're going to talk like we always do about they've got to get pre-approved, but there's a lot more going on right now for buyers to think about, right? So
yes.
What would you like to say to buyers right now that they should be thinking about when they're out looking at houses? I mean, their agents should do some research.
Well, okay, so now as a buyer, again, of course, always, please go and get pre-approved first. So then you know how much money you have. Yeah. Because now with the stress test and everything else going on, they've just changed a little bit what your requirements are. So that's a given. But the other part of it is when you're choosing your realtor that you're working with, do your best to choose someone that is going to work for you. It's going to go out on a limb, so to speak. They're going to do everything in their power, whether it's door knocking in the neighborhood that you specifically want to live in, or whether it's cold calling in that neighborhood, or whatever it takes. Make sure that your realtor is working for you. And the other part of it is that a lot of realtors have a whole slew, maybe 10 or 15 buyers that they're working with, but they're not giving any one of those buyers real undivided attention. So look for someone who's busy, but at the same time, who looks at you as though you are the only client that they have in their arsenal at that time. And that's really, really important. So as a buyer, that's about the best advice that I can give. The other part of it is we're filming this now. It's still winter months. We're only in February of 2018. And so we have March coming along. There are going to be homes coming on the market. So as a buyer, I say right now is a good time, right now, because there aren't very many houses on the market. So you have a lot to negotiate with. Come in the spring, it's going to be the same as well. You're going to have more homes on the market. So again, on the other side, the flip side, you're going to have more houses to choose from. Again, giving you more ability to negotiate. So take a look. We have a seller coming on the market in March. We're already working with them, getting their home ready for sale in Newmarket. So that one's coming out on March the 14th. At the moment, it might change, who knows. But a lot of agents are behind the scenes working with their sellers, getting their homes ready. So as a buyer, keep your eyes open, but day to day. But there's no time like the present. Yeah. Really.
One thing that I'm catching often when we're working with a new buyer, sometimes a seller is just inquiring about what happened on their street, is so two of the buyers that we worked with so far this year, every time we've liked a house, you look into the records and there it is. They were for sale last summer for 3-4 months. They were at this price, then this price, then this price, and now they've adjusted their price to be more of what the market right now is providing for. Yeah. And so as the agent for these clients, we really need to know this right up front so that they can make really good decisions. Yes. And so in one case, the house actually sold slightly over the asking price, which I can read the flyer right now, right? Sold for 103% of asking. But it's far from the price they were trying for, trying for $849, then down to like $699. They sold for, I think it was $710 in total. So they did sell over the asking price, but far from the price they were looking for. Right. So it's an interesting thing going on in the marketplace. But for buyers, we want to just double check, make sure that the property that we're going to buy, what have they done in the past? Maybe they've only owned it for a year. Maybe they sold it and it didn't close. There's just so many things. Yes. And all of these things are reflected upon when you're preparing an offer or even thinking whether or not you want the house. Yes. So that would be really good. I guess you kind of slid a little bit into our seller side of advice. And on the seller side, letting us know and pre-planning a lot of what we do is so important. These people could have a cream puff to sell, or they could have a house that's going to require a little bit of renovations before we get it ready. And so the house that you're speaking of in Newmarket here, the owner's got all the drywall, they've got all the trim, they've got some of the pot lights in, they've got the other pot lights ready to go. And so we've lined them up with a couple of people to finish the drywall, to do the painting and those kind of things. They'll get quotes from those people. They'll get some timelines to work on. And if everything works out right, we're prepared to have their place on the market for the 14th of March.
Yes. Now, the other part of that, the reason why I mentioned it also, as a buyer, we actually have more than one client. I know of other homes that are available for sale in the upcoming 1 or 2 months. And in the past, we both actually have sold homes that weren't on the market, that were coming on the market. But we said to them, would you please just give us a 72-hour exclusive listing and we'll bring our client in. And if we can get you an offer, would you sell it? And if the answer is yes to that question, well, guess what? If you're looking to buy and again, you have a requirement, then let us know, because we'll go after our clients that are thinking about coming on the market. And if they're willing to they've already signed our listing with us exclusively. So you have a foot in the door. So come and talk to us and see who we have and who we can drum up for you. I have a list. Both Brian and I have a list of clients that we've dealt with in the past that have said to us, well, we might sell next year, or it might sell in 6 months for whatever reason, but they're thinking of selling and they are in a list. So again, depending on what you're looking for, give us a call. So then we have an opportunity to call them again and say, listen, we have a buyer. Yeah. Would you be open to looking at a listing? Maybe you're going to close in 6 months. Maybe you're going to close in a year. Who knows? But you might have an opportunity of buying something like that.
Yeah, we're putting up coming soon signs within 3 to 5 days of the listing going on board once in a while. But you're right. I mean, we've got people right now that are a good 3 months out from actually putting their house on the market. We know who they are, and if there's something that we could arrange for a new buyer who's also not hoping to buy until maybe the end of the summer or something,
you never know.
Could be a perfect match.
Come in and talk to us. Sit down with us, and we'll help you. That's all I can say.
All right. Well, a little bit of a freewheel show for us, but we know so much about real estate that we could likely go on for hours. So I hope you enjoyed the show, and don't forget to subscribe and like us. Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our video. Whatever your real estate needs, please contact us. Cheers.